Hey, everybody back in the Snarf Talk house at the Snarf Talk house says, hey.
Back. Hey. Snarf Talk house says, hey.
Says, hey. So, guys, we got some exciting stuff for you planned today. I'm just going to whiz through some of the early stuff here. We are going to do top 10 90s action movies. Now, a couple weeks ago, we did 80s action movies and went very well. So we're going to go with 90s this week. So you definitely don't want to miss that.
No.
We got some news and we got some what you're watching towards the end of the show. But first, something a little odd happened.
No, huge, Chris. It's not it's a lot odd, first off, but it's incredible in the Snarf Talk pantheon of stuff, right? Like of recordings of what our history has been.
Yeah. So we had somebody, a famous celebrity, reach out to us and had been aware of the podcast and aware of a little segment we like to do sometimes called Snarfioki.
Yeah, and it's mostly on our Patreon, but we did
some early on ones.
Some hidden tracks early on, so go back. I couldn't tell you what numbers they are because I honestly don't remember, but on our earlier tracks, we have some Snarfiokis that were hidden in the back. And this gentleman, which we hinted at or basically told you in the last episode, heard them, and he wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
He is a 90s cult classic.
Yeah.
That's why we wanted to put him on the top 10 90s action movies.
Of course.
Recording here. So we got him. He's ready for us to call him. So we were going to call him on Skype.
We're going to Skype in with him. Here's the problem is that the way our equipment is right now, I have to run the podcast, the board, and the Skype and everything, and it's going to disable my mic. So unfortunately,
right.
I'm just going to be here controlling things, but Jerry's going to be the one actually having the conversation with him a little bit. And then he's told us he wants to join in the fun and do some Snarfioki. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah. So, so we're going to call him, and I'll have a little bit of a conversation, and we'll see where it goes, I guess. Yeah. You know, because I don't know where it's going to go.
I don't even know what to think.
I have no idea what to think.
No sense.
I've been waiting for this since I was a child. I've loved this man for a long time.
Yeah.
And he's been a bit of a novelty. I talked about him like throughout my whole life. There's been other people in my life, like Pagoda. Pagoda's been on this show before, and he does an impersonation of this man. And well, I guess we could just tell him, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it's Aaron Neville. If you don't know who Aaron Neville is, he was a very famous singer in the 90s, had a lot of hits, and he is going to be on the show.
Yeah.
He told us to call him.
So we're going to do that.
That's what we're going to do.
So without any further ado, really, I'm going to jump off. Jerry's going to ring him up on Skype. And we'll just we'll get this going.
All right.
All right, you ready?
Yes. And let's call him now.
Well, hello, Jerry.
Oh, Aaron. Hey, how are you tonight?
Well, that's right. You got me.
I do. We do. We super appreciate you being on the podcast tonight. It's something that we never thought was going to happen ever.
Well, you know, when I found out about this Snarf Talk that you guys are doing, I had to be a part of it.
And we greatly appreciate it. I've loved you for a long time. You have a lot of great hits, and we were just hoping to, get a good conversation out of you.
Well, you know, I've just been in California on this quarantine. All I can think about is I've just got a lot of time on my hands, Jerry.
Yeah, we do too.
And, I heard about this podcast.
Yeah.
I heard about a little segment you guys do called a Snarfioki.
Yeah, we've been doing Snarfioki for a little while now, and it's just something we do for fun. Do you want to do something like that?
Well, you goddamn right I want to do it, Jerry.
Wow, that would be incredible.
I don't know if you know, I got a little hit from the 90s.
Yeah.
A little bit of a pop ballad, and I sang it with the...
You have so many hits.
Yeah, well, I sang this one with my friend Linda Ronstadt.
Oh, Mr. Aaron Neville. Are you talking about...
it's a little song I call I Don't Know Much, but I Know I Love You.
Oh, my gosh. I do love you.
But we got a problem here, Jerry.
Okay.
Linda's not available right now.
Oh, so she's not there with
I
you.
can't. No, she's not here with me. So I gotta get you to sing her part of the song for me.
What you want me to be Linda Ronstadt?
Who else is gonna do it, Jerry?
I mean, there's literally nobody else in the county that could be Linda Ronstadt besides me. So it's just by happenstance that I can be her tonight.
That's right, Jerry. And that's what's gonna happen.
Okay. I mean, I haven't practiced the part about 7 times before this. I guess we'll just do it on the fly, right?
Yeah. Well, let's get right into it. Jerry.
I mean, obviously you know the song. So
no, yeah. Well, I mean, I wrote the song.
You did. You did. Okay. I'll be Linda Ronstadt and you'll be Aaron Neville.
Yes, sir.
And we'll do this song.
And let's get going, Jerry.
All
Let's
right.
get this rolling. I hope all you guys out in Snarf Talk land are ready for some snarfioki.
And here we go.
Look at his face. I know the years are showing. Look at this life. I still don't know where it's going. I don't know much, but I know I love you. And that may be all I need to know.
Look at these eyes, never seen one matter. Look at these dreams, so beaten and so battered.
I don't know much, but I know I love you. And that may be all I need to know. So many questions still left unanswered. So much I've never broken through.
And when I feel you near me, sometimes I see so clearly.
The only truth I'll ever know is me and you. Look at this man, so blessed with inspiration. Look at this soul, still searching for salvation. I don't know much, but I know I love you. And that may be all I need to know. I don't know much, but I know I love you. And that may be all I need to know. I don't know much, but I know I love you. And that may be all there is to know.
Wow. Aaron, I've never done anything like that in my life.
But Jerry, I tell you what, that is one solid falsetto you got right there.
Thank you. I've really never hit a falsetto like that in my life, besides other than like driving around in my truck. But
Well, you damn near make Linda Ronstadt jealous.
you, thank you so much.
I mean, I don't know much, But I know you got a hell of a singing voice.
Thank you. I don't. But that rendition just brought out the best of me, and I think it's because of you.
Well, you know what, Jerry? I'm just a big fan of the show,
Thank you.
and I'm a big fan of everything you guys are doing over there. And I just want to come on and help in any little way I can.
Well, I tell you what. I mean, I know Chris wants.
I'm sick about that.
Yeah,
know?
Chris wants to be able to talk to you, but he's running the operation
Well,
right
maybe
now.
we'll get on the phone afterwards after we get off the recording.
Yeah,
We'll just have a little chat.
If we could have a little, like maybe a Snapchat or a selfie with you on the computer, that would be incredible.
Oh, Jerry, actually, I figured out a way to enable my mic.
Oh, this is absolutely perfect that we can have all three of us on at the same time. This is unbelievable.
Aaron, I just want to thank you so much. That was so much fun.
Wasn't it great?
Right, you know what? I'm just really happy that I got a chance to talk to you and talk to all you guys right here. And I just want to help out in any way I can. And I just want to tell you guys, go ahead and keep doing all the good things you're doing.
Thank you. We're going to try.
Oh,
I mean,
for sure. And it's just, it blows our mind to have you here. You're by far the biggest celebrity we've had on here.
Yeah,
the only
absolutely.
celebrity we've had on here.
could we have this again? I mean, would you be willing to do the show again at some point in the future if you were available?
Well, you know what, Jared? What I think's happening right now is you're getting a little too big for your britches.
Oh,
All right. So we'll just see how that goes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Neville.
We'll just see how it goes.
Okay.
And, maybe.
I mean, have you been doing much lately?
I don't know much.
Yeah, no.
But I know my time is valuable.
It is.
No, I'm sorry for my co-host here.
I wasn't. meaning to overstep.
if you ever want to come back on, you have an open invitation to have some fun, do some snarfioki, and have a great time.
Yeah,
Well, you know what? I appreciate that. And, I think I probably will do that.
thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time. I know our listeners will really appreciate this. Like if you could ever be on again, we will have you. And I don't want to keep you any more than what you've got.
All right. Well, I had a great time, and I really appreciate being out here.
And thank you, Aaron, and we really appreciate having you. And good luck with the quarantine, and I hope you can get back out there.
Yes, avoid the corona.
Well, I had a concert planned for this summer. I was thinking that maybe I should, talk about that, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, if you ever have a concert in our area, Snarf Talk will promote it.
Well,
We will
I
be
don't
there.
know. I don't know much, Jerry, but I know if I have a concert in your area, you will have front row seats. You know what? I'll bring you up on stage to sing that part of the duet.
If I could be Linda Ronstadt,
You will be up on stage, and we will sing that duet.
because I have an incredible falsetto that I've hidden for years, and you've brought it out for me.
Well, I appreciate you having me. You guys have a great rest of the show, and we'll see you next time.
All right.
All right. Well, thank
Thanks,
you, Aaron.
Aaron.
See ya. Bye-bye.
And that was Aaron Neville. I literally just had a conversation with Aaron Neville and sang a duet with him, Chris.
What is going on?
Do you understand what just happened?
No, I don't. I don't know what's going on with
I
this
don't
podcast,
either.
but it is.
It is bringing us to new areas of fame.
New Aaron Neville level heights. 90's superstardom, if you will.
Yeah.
Now that's 90's. That guy's on it.
Yeah. So now do we get what's that one guy's name?
Or maybe that's 80's. I don't know. One of those two.
Michael
Jackson? Oh, no, he's dead.
no, the other guy. My mom loved him. He was on he was on with shit. What's that group called? With Andy Samberg.
Lonely Island?
Yeah, Lonely Island had this guy on. What's his name?
Oh, yeah, Michael McDonald.
No, not him. It's the blonde-haired guy that everybody loves. And he sang so many songs that, middle-aged women in the 90s loved.
Michael McDonald from the Doobie Brothers?
No, it's not him. It's, shoot.
Well, whatever.
We're going to think of it, and I will come back later and
Bad podcasting.
bring
here.
it up and tell you who it is.
Michael McDonald's amazing, though, too.
He is.
Michael McDonald.
Doobie Brothers, Steely Dan. I mean, come on.
My name is Michael.
He was on Now That's Motown or whatever, one of those Motown collections that you used to see back in the 90s.
Yes.
He was definitely on that. But why are we talking about Michael McDonald when we could be talking about Aaron Neville? That just happened.
I don't know.
Boy, if we didn't have so much to go for on this show, we would probably talk about it for another hour. But we are
got
doing a
so
thing.
much more to cover.
We are doing a thing. We are doing top 90s action movies. Tell me what, Jerry. Do you want to do the little bit of news we got before that or after that?
Michael Bolton that I'm talking about.
Hey, in YouTube land. Sorry, you guys are way late to the party. I didn't start recording this soon enough when the show started. Welcome to Snarf Talk. If you want to listen to the most amazing thing you've ever heard, you need to go to Apple Podcast app or Spotify and download this
Right
episode
now.
77, right, of
Yes.
the podcast. We just had Aaron Neville on of 90s fame. Sorry, YouTube, I missed the button.
It doesn't matter, but go to the podcast and listen to it because it's incredible. We didn't have
And we
any
wouldn't-
video of him anyway.
Yeah, we didn't have any video, so we weren't going to put it up anyway.
The only video you would have seen is me singing a duet
right.
with Aaron Neville,
'Cause
and it would have only been me.
We had the Skype video of him because it was a video conference, but the Skype videos are so poor quality. I
They
would never
are
put that
dog
onto
shit.
YouTube. So
Either way, who I was talking about earlier was Michael Bolton.
Michael Bolton.
We are going to have Michael Bolton on at some point, I'm sure, if I can reach out to him. I mean, now that we've talked to Aaron Neville and had a duet with him,
Who's better, Michael Bolton or George Michael?
Michael Bolton by far. I would. Yeah, I know. I get it.
Careless Whisper?
Yeah, Careless Whisper is a phenomenal song, but Michael Bolton, he's just better.
What does Michael Bolton sing?
You know, that one song.
Okay.
He sings a lot of them.
He used to be a hard rocker. He opened for Ozzy Osbourne.
No,
with his
he
band
didn't.
Blackjack. Yes, he did.
Is that real?
Yeah, dude. He auditioned for and was denied lead vocalist for Black Sabbath.
Well, yeah, there's a reason why he was denied.
Later, he said that rumor was untrue. The rumor about me auditioning for Black Sabbath was only a rumor. I don't know how on earth it started. Wrong. Why would they even write that?
I don't understand why anybody would even say that. Like, who would honestly believe that Michael Bolton could sing for Black Sabbath?
Listen, it's irrelevant. So let's get on with the show.
Did you say elephant?
Yeah, irrelevant. Are we going to do a little bit of news first, or are we going to jump right into the top 10 90s action movies?
No, we need to do a little bit of news
I
first.
got some news, too, so we can do some housekeeping here.
And real quick, I want to just throw out some things real quick from our statistics, right? So we have had, I just want to say we've had some listeners across the United States that I want to call out from North Carolina, Maryland, Texas, Michigan. You guys are listening to the podcast. We appreciate
Indiana. A lot from Indiana.
Indiana's freaking hammering it.
There's more than corn in Indiana.
But the most
There's Indiana Beach.
located on Lake Schaefer in Monticello, Indiana.
Beautiful.
Proving
Schaefer.
once again there is more than corn than Indiana. Anyway, yeah. Maryland, North Carolina, Florida, Texas, Michigan, Indiana. I already said
California.
that. Ohio, California, and New Mexico. Thank you for listening to the show. We
Especially
appreciate
all
it.
of our friends, repeat listeners in UK and Australia. That's great. I know we've had some new ones this week.
Russia.
Russia's
been killing it.
Russia's been killing it.
We
but
are not in a collusion.
Swaziland.
Yeah, Swaziland in Africa, but that's a
friend
one
of
man
yours, yeah.
named Nate.
But besides all that, we have regular listeners from the UK and from Australia. We have for the last year. So if you guys are listening, please reach out. We want to hear more from you.
It's like Queensland.
Yeah, Queensland and there's some other places.
I don't know the other
And
locations.
God, I want to know who all these people that are listening in Maryland are in Michigan.
I don't know.
Huge numbers.
Literally, all I need you to do is comment on something.
Right. Or just Facebook message us and
Yeah.
just be like, hey, I'm the person listening.
Yeah, that's literally it. That's honestly why I wanted to call you out and say hey, these are the states we're getting listens in. Yeah, let us know what if you guys are listening. That's great. So thanks.
Okay.
Yeah,
some news. First, right off the top, before you get into yours, I want to talk about a little bit of a new playlist we have on YouTube. that I've been working on.
Yeah, Snarf Talk.
It's called Snarf Talk Juniors.
Juniors.
It's starring my 6-year-old, soon to be 7-year-old son, Cash. And he's having a ball. And
It looks like it.
creating his own YouTube videos. All he's ever wanted since he was about 3 or 4 years old was his own YouTube channel, and I would never let him have one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but just because I always felt it was not
No, I agree.
a good idea.
But now we can facilitate that.
Well, and then I said, why don't we try to make you go do something viral and me get all the credit by putting it on my
That's perfect.
YouTube channel?
No, that's perfect.
No. Actually, the reality is it's quarantine time, so I needed to keep him busy while he was in the office with me. So I set up a tripod and an iPad. Literally, guys, I'm telling you, absolutely zero input from me. Zero. I'm in the other room. He closes and locks the door. He will not let me be anywhere near it.
Right.
It is 100% created by him. The only thing that I do is I upload the video and I put it, I edit it a little bit and upload it. I don't censor. I don't give him topics. I don't tell him what to talk about. He's recorded about 5 or 6 of them right now. I've released 2. If you go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/snarfcomics, soon to be youtube.com/snarftalk.
Yeah, we're kind of rebranding here. So Snarf Comics is the overarching brand, right?
I just think it's a little confusing.
It can be confusing to everyone to log into Snarf Comics when we have a podcast called Snarf Talk. So
we're
all
going to keep our
we're
website as snarfcomics.com. But other than that, anyway, beside the point. So check that out. It's really cool. The first one he does is a little puppet show with Darth Vader and Drax as they talk about coronavirus and in only a way a 6-year-old could, in a kind of a hauntingly depressing rendition of
wow.
coronavirus and like what its effect on children is right now. Like seriously, like it's some of the things that they come up with. You're like, that's really
dark.
depressing.
You are dark.
It's called coronavirus, man.
Yeah,
It's everywhere.
it is everywhere. Literally everywhere.
It was great. And the second one, he does a little action figure roundup where he talks about a bunch of his different action figures.
Well, I tell you, I wish. So I'm going to try to get my children involved with this, but they just aren't as open. Like Grant is, my middle son is open and goofy, but as soon as you put something in front of him, like a camera or anything like that, he like freezes up and isn't serious enough. Like you can be goofy, I get that, but he just isn't serious enough to make like a coherent video.
But he's still pretty young.
And then there's Grady, who is older than, like 1 year older than Cash, and he's so serious that he will literally stare at you, blank faced, and just like super serious face, and say like, "What you want me to do something? What would you like me to say things?" And I say like, "Yeah, like talk about your toys or talk about what you're doing." Why would I ever do that? He's like so overly serious, and it doesn't make for great videos. Right. So
we'll
I need
see how it goes
tomorrow. On my day off, I'm going to test this, and I'm going to give them the video camera and say, or my phone, and say like, record whatever you want, do whatever you want.
Just the only a bit of advice or whatever I give for Cash is I said try and keep them under 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And I told him to talk about, I told him to talk about whatever he wanted, really. So I told him to try and keep him under 5 minutes. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to do a lot of editing.
No, I don't.
So that was all there
at
is.
all either.
I would love to have my daughter do it because she's super cute.
Yes.
But she just wants to do makeup tutorials.
We could do those.
That's all she wants to do.
Snarf Talk
That's all
makeup.
she cares about is makeup.
That's weird.
And dresses.
Like such a girl.
Very, very girly.
That's weird.
It's fine.
She shouldn't be.
So anyway, that was a little bit of that. Check out Snarf Talk Juniors on youtube.com/Snarf Comics. Playlist is Snarf Talk Juniors. I had 2 other pieces of news. Some of them are probably overlapping.
Yes.
Big news came out.
Huge.
HBO Max is releasing. Is that the news you were talking about?
No, not at all.
HBO Max came out and said they are releasing on launch with the Snyder Cut
Oh, yeah.
of Justice League.
The Snyder Cut of Justice League has been petitioned
For
to be
years
out
now.
for like 2 years now.
Right.
Like there has been hundreds of thousands, if not like millions of people asking for this cut
Yeah.
of the movie.
And what it is basically is as when they were making Justice League, about halfway through or so, or a little more than halfway through, Zack Snyder had some personal family issues, some tragic issues actually.
Very.
He had to leave production. At that point, the studio took that as a cue to scrap the entire movie he was
And
making,
redo it.
and redo it with Joss Whedon, and they didn't do it well.
No.
But
Turns
the
out it
Snyder Cut
kinda
has always been
failed.
rumored to be amazing because it takes a completely different direction. So they have sunk a fresh $20 million into it because the Snyder Cut was assembled but never rendered.
Yeah, it was basically put
The
together. right?
graphics were never completed. I mean, it's there, but there's no CGI.
Okay.
So they basically had to re-render a bunch of it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that this cut that they have, because there's no way for $20 million they'd be able to finish rendering all the CGI. My guess is what they did was they kind of meshed what they had existing with
Right.
new scenes that kind of changed the storyline.
So do you think they had talked about prior that the Green Lantern Corps was going to be involved with this?
Yeah, I believe that is.
You think that's
I
going to
don't.
happen?
I don't know if that's on the table for this. I think that would. I don't. $20 million is a lot of money
Yes, it is a lot of
to
money.
make a 10-minute scene. You know
The
what I mean?
Army Corps of Engineers will not spend like $3 to $4 million for a project that I need done. So this $20 million,
Yeah.
that's a lot of money.
So anyway, I'm excited about it. I know there's a lot of back and forth. I've been jumping on Instagram to a lot of people that we follow that I've been doing some Instagram lives talking about this issue, and they're being very negative about it. And my
Really?
position, yeah, everybody's being negative about it.
Why? Everybody wanted
Well,
this
the
to
movie
happen.
sucked, and why are we going back? Let's move forward. And my point is, and
So
I
they put those-
commented on them. I say, literally, more is better. Give me all of it.
Everything you could ever imagine in the comic book world, give it to me.
Right.
I want every offcut. I want everything that was thrown away.
Let me decide.
Exactly. Put it out there to us. If we don't like it, I'll tell you after I watch the show.
Or I won't, and I will move on with my life because I've
Exactly,
only
yeah.
invested an hour or two.
Exactly. I never commented on anything, but I mean, so many people have wanted this to happen over the last few years that I am baffled at anyone saying that it's dumb, because it's literally had a petition.
Yeah, it's
Put
not
out.
dumb, and it's
No,
I'm
it's
excited
not
about it, and I'm pretty excited. All right, next big
Yeah,
topic.
no, that's huge. The biggest one.
The biggest one. A little guy and a friend of the podcast named Joe Rogan.
A personal friend of the podcast. We'll probably have him on after Aaron Neville.
Yeah,
Now, I mean, especially now that we have had Aaron Neville on,
for sure.
why wouldn't Joe Rogan be on our show? You know,
So he signed a little bit of a deal, an exclusive deal
Yeah.
with Spotify for his podcast and all the video that is
the
associated
video
with it.
too. That's the huge
Gone
part.
off YouTube, gone off all that. And this is a big deal, A, because Joe Rogan said he would never do it,
Yes.
basically. But, you know, I think it's great. I'm all for it.
I'm not.
No?
No. First off, I don't like Spotify.
Me neither. I'm not a huge fan. Although, if you're listening on Spotify, as a 10% of our audience does, thank you.
Yeah, no, it has nothing to do with like how
The podcast is still going to be 100% free.
I understand
This is
that.
not a paid premium Spotify thing.
No, I get that, and in the video, I just don't think will be to the standard of YouTube. I don't know how video
I don't
works
even know
on
where
you.
you get the video.
I don't either. That's
I
why I'm
think he's
saying.
going to lose a lot of visibility on the video world. But here's the deal:
That's the way I.
it was over $100 million deal over several years. They didn't say how many years, but
100 milli.
which is not surprising. His podcast, and don't quote me if this isn't perfect, but 160 to 180 million downloads per episode.
Yes, I heard 160 to 190, but either way, it doesn't matter. Like per episode, we're talking about.
And there's like 4 or 5 a week. This is the most popular piece of media entertainment in the history of media.
Yeah, in the world right now.
Is
Like,
that
it's
insane to you? That he
absolutely? I did not know it was to that quantity.
I knew
of
it was that big, but
I didn't think it was almost 200 million people. I mean, how many people are in the United States?
I mean, think about it this way.
300 million?
If you have advertisers that are willing to pay even a penny, let's say 10 cents for visibility on that show.
10 cents?
Per episode for some kind of visibility. All right. On 160 million views, that would be $16 million per episode in revenue.
Yes.
And 10 cents is not much.
No, I would pay them 10 cents per episode.
No. Per listener.
Per listener. Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't do that.
Anyway, my point is, and I'm sure he makes companies fortunes, that advertise with him.
So that's
I know for a fact he does.
Yeah, I know he does too, because that's what I was going to bring up, is that every advertisement that I see on Facebook has Joe Rogan involved with it.
Yeah.
Like there's a rubber ring, like one of those elastic rings that you can wear instead of your regular wedding ring. And there's, it's called Alpha Brain.
Yeah, that's his company, I think, makes Alpha Brain. On it.
He owns it?
Yeah. Well, he's part owner.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
There's so many things that pop up on Facebook that Joe Rogan is involved with that is just being advertised because of his name.
The biggest media personality probably in the history of mankind.
Isn't that's crazy?
And you know what?
And it all stems from fear factor.
Well, I mean, honestly, he's really good at what he does, and he makes a really good, entertaining show. But that's only the download part, and we're not even talking about YouTube. So he gets about 2 million views per episode.
So that's how I mostly take in his podcast.
I never watch it on YouTube.
I love it.
But he gets about 2 million downloads per episode on YouTube, and then also when he gets Elon Musk, he got 13 million.
Right.
Huge views. So I mean, that's massive revenue on YouTube. As well. So that's going to be gone. And honestly, he's had a little beef with YouTube for a long time now. So
everyone does, everyone.
I think it's exciting for me, and it may be a little more of a pain in the ass because I listen through Apple. But the point to me is that it's legitimizing this medium, to a point that hasn't been done before, but was ready to happen.
None of it.
And listen. This is one podcast out of 900,000.
But it doesn't matter. One of them has to reach a certain point before all the rest start following suit. And this one has reached a point where they have taken it so seriously that they're getting contracts like this. So others will follow suit.
You're know what I mean? About numbers per episode that are is bigger than every single show on every network on primetime television.
It's bigger than the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is the best airing show every single year, and it has never come close to 190 million people.
It comes to 19 million.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. How many people are in the United States?
350 million-ish.
So you're talking over 50%.
Well, but it's worldwide. There's 7 billion people on the earth.
I know, and I'm only saying that we're talking about the United States, and we're over 50% of the United States are paying attention to Joe Rogan.
Well, I mean, a lot of those people from other countries.
I know that, but I'm saying if you only took it down to 300 million, you're over 50%. Right. I understand it's worldwide, but not the entire world has the internet either.
Well, come on.
No.
Most of it does.
No.
Yeah, most of the world has internet.
I struggled to get internet moving out of Mazan.
Well, I mean, the United States is far behind in the internet game.
To who?
To Europe. One time I was in the middle of Ethiopia 10 years ago, standing in a field, and I had 5 bars of LTE.
How's that possible?
Before I could even get it in Mazan, Illinois.
I don't even know how that's possible.
It's weird. The United States sucks for internet. Anyway, regardless, Joe Rogan.
That's big government.
Big deal.
Yes. Fucking Jerry Taft.
What else you got?
So what I have right now is that there's a possible new ghostwriter.
We talked about this already. It's going to be on Apple.
No. Well, no, this is a different one.
Oh, Ghost Rider, not Ghost Writer.
Yeah, Ghost Rider.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Ghost Rider, which they're remaking on Apple,
I understand that.
like the PBS show.
This is like the comic book character Ghost Rider, Marvel comic book guy. So in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they had Robbie Reyes.
Yeah, he's a
like
great character.
The third iteration of the Ghost Rider character.
The best iteration.
He's very, very good. I agree. But what they're predicting, none of this is like set in stone. It's just like all talk. But what they're predicting is that like the Robbie Reyes character is done with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They're going to restart it though. And they're saying that like in the new Doctor Strange movie, they're going to tie it in to a Ghost Rider.
Okay.
The first iteration with Johnny Blaze. And do you know who they're predicting to be Ghost Rider?
Nick Cage.
Nope.
I don't know.
No, he was already one.
I don't know.
Keanu Reeves.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
So apparently,
But isn't he in the Eternals?
so Kevin Feige has went on record and said that every Marvel movie that they're doing, they've ran in front of Keanu Reeves to try to get him involved with it. And he loves Ghost Rider.
I could totally see that.
He's never, because of the motorcycle thing.
Yeah.
He loves motorcycles.
Yeah, he's
he's
a huge
obsessed with it.
motorcycle,
He has his own company. Like, he wants to be involved with motorcycles. So they've put everything in front of Keanu Reeves every time they come up with new ideas. And he's turned everything down except for Eternals. And apparently he was interested in Ghost Rider years ago.
I could see how they could tie in an Eternals character to Ghost Rider because
So,
he's inhabited with the spirit of a demon, which could be a god.
right. But also they're going to try to tie that all into the new Doctor Strange movie. So all of that would happen after Doctor Strange 2, like into the, what is it?
The multiverse of madness.
Yeah. While that comes out, they're going to tie Ghost Rider into that.
I'm in.
Apparently. So
I'm in. I'm a huge Ghost Rider fan. Always have been.
I am too. And
I've
I
been
like
a fan
Nicolas
of that character
Cage.
since I was a kid. I didn't care for the movies much, to be
I
honest.
did.
But I've been a fan of the comics since I was a kid. Actually, for a long time, it was one of my favorite comics. And honestly, not really story-wise as much as just the visuals were amazing. So
I thought it was great. I have one more little piece of news, and that is a show that you really don't care about.
me?
Yeah, I don't think you do.
Okay.
I mean, maybe you do, and I think you'll watch the second season, and that's what I have is that Umbrella Academy.
Oh, yeah.
Umbrella
Meh.
Academy on Netflix.
Meh. Is it back out?
No, it's set for a July release.
Okay.
Netflix just said that they were going to release the second season in July.
I'll watch it because the end of that season was the best part. That was when it
Yes.
ended.
Yes. Oh. No.
Yeah. No, it was better towards the end. It was just really slow
It was really slow, and
and very interested in itself.
I wanted it to be so much better than what it was, and I think it can be. I think they can go in a direction where it's going to be very good.
Yeah.
And I mean, the production is there, the money is there, like they have the ability to do like better.
For sure.
And I think the second season can do that because the last couple episodes were good.
There's just so much
They were
setup that
good.
needed to happen. I don't know that there's another way that it could have worked.
No, you're right.
They had
And-
good characters. They
but-
just had a lot of setup to do.
But you can't deny that the last two episodes weren't good. They were. They were like very
There
good.
was a lot of episodes were good.
Yeah.
It's just
Yes.
was slow at times, and I think they have more of an opportunity in season 2 because they've
Absolutely
gotten a
they
lot of
do.
the bullshit out of the way.
So that's why I am a little bit more excited for
But
season 2
they gotta
because
get rid of Ellen Page.
yeah,
She's the worst.
she's so bad. She's just so bad. I mean, I don't think she's a bad actress. I don't think
Oh, I
she's
do.
bad. No, I don't think she is. I just don't think she was good as that character.
No, I didn't like it at all.
Well, you just hate women. So
No, that's not true.
no, that's true.
Nope.
No, we've proven it right now because you said it.
Okay.
And it's recorded. Now everyone knows.
All right. Well, fine.
Well, Okay.
Jerry,
Top
is it that time?
10 90s action movies. Guys, this was one of the hardest lists I had to make.
This was a difficult list.
I had 22 movies written down on this piece of paper. I could have had 32 movies listed down on this paper, and I cut it down to 22. And then Chris is like, oh, we're only doing 15, and, we got to have Patreon. Well, you know what? I mean, that's what we're going to do. It's a top 10.
We're doing our top 10. If you want to hear our, which is going to be really good, trust me. If you want to hear our 5 honorable mentions, you have to skate on over to patreon.com/snarfcomics. Be warned, the honorable mentions podcast extra will not come out till next week because we had the thing with Aaron Neville.
Right. And he's going to be on that Patreon.
I don't know about that. But
No, he said, like, if you have a Patreon involved with this podcast, I will be on it. So we're going to have to recall in, and it'll be a little bit of a deal. But he specifically said, I will 100% be on the beginning of that podcast.
for that top
Patreon.
for that honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Okay, so next week, the honorable mentions that has podcast will come out on Patreon. Again, patreon.com/snarfcomics. At $5 level a month, you get all of our bonus podcasts as well as a bunch of other stuff. And guys, we've been putting out pretty good bonus podcasts. So.
And listen, it's like a double episode a week.
But they don't come out every week. But
No, not every week. But when we have the honorable mentions, it's like getting 2 podcasts a week.
Yeah, basically.
It's almost like 3 hours worth of content.
Who knows? The honorable mentions sometimes might be your favorite movies on the honorable mentions.
It could be.
So then you want to hear us talk about those, right?
Yeah. Like I don't have the same likes that you do.
Right.
And I guarantee you our lists are different. And I
This list
guarantee you
was very difficult.
I'm going to have unpopular opinions.
Me too. But this list was difficult, and I think we should start it off.
Okay. So what is your number 10, Chris?
All right.
Go.
This might be a somewhat controversial pick, Jerry.
Really?
But it's a movie that I love, that I loved watching in the 90s. I love watching now. And I had to give credit where credit is due to one of the greatest B-movie action stars of all time, Mr. Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Really?
And I have to go at number 10 with Time Cop.
Wow. I did not think that would make your top 10.
Time Cop is an absolute classic
I
cult
agree.
movie. It was Jean-Claude Van Damme's highest grossing movie of all time. Over $100 million in the box office, by the way.
You know what I like? Bloodsport.
Well, that's a great one, too.
Yeah.
It's the second movie to break $100 million worldwide. And not only that, but it actually is a really good movie. This is one of the only movies of his that's actually like a super good movie, and just happens to be a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. So I've always been a fan of this ever since I was a middle schooler sitting on Victor Rexroad's couch eating entire boxes of Ritz crackers and entire with peanut butter and just watching Time Cop.
You're eating full tires of peanut butter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. That's incredible.
Full tires?
It sounded like you said tires.
No, I didn't say that. A jar of peanut butter.
Yeah.
Box of Ritz crackers. Time Cop. Boom. That's all you need.
And that's the perfect
And
90s
to be
evening.
14 years old. But no, I'm a huge fan. And I have to give, listen, there's some honorable mentions I got that are probably better movies, but it's a little bit of a nostalgia pick for me.
And that's fine.
I got
That's
to honor
perfect.
the Van Damme because he ain't
I
going to
know.
make the list anywhere else. Let's be honest.
He's really not.
And he deserves to be on some list because he's one of the greatest action stars of all time.
You know, you're right. And you're right. I like Jean-Claude Van Damme, but I wouldn't have put that as my top 10.
Okay. You're number 10 then.
Again, remember, these are probably unpopular picks for a top 10, but these are Chris and I's picks. My number 10,
Speak for yourself.
Total Recall.
Total Recall.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Why is that unpopular?
I just feel like it's unpopular as number 10.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I feel like more people would pick it higher.
Higher. Okay.
I think people
okay.
would pick that higher because it is a classic. People love
It's
it.
a Paul Verhoeven movie. Same. He did a little movie called RoboCop as well
Yeah, he did. And that was on my top 10 for
for 80s. Yeah.
80s action movies. The reason I love,
It's also a Philip K. Dick story. Did you know that?
he's great.
Science fiction author extraordinaire.
Yeah, big time. Arnold Schwarzenegger was in his prime.
That's right.
Prime.
1990.
He was doing the best work he's ever done. And Total Recall, they made a fake head of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And boobs. 3 boobs.
Yeah, there's a 3 boob character, but his whole head, his eyes pop out, like his tongue pops out. If you go back and watch it, it's terrible.
Yeah, oh yeah, but it was one of the most expensive movies ever made. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
At
no.
the time.
At the time, I could
Yeah.
understand that, but I did not know that that was a fact. But I don't know. It's like he's dreaming about Mars, and then he ends up going to Mars, and they need him to go to Mars, and it's a really fun movie, and I love it.
And his name is Douglas Quaid.
Yeah.
And I love the Quaid family.
Anybody in the Quaid family,
Dennis
we
Quaid
love.
is the best.
What's another Quaid?
Randy Quaid?
Randy Quaid. Of course, Shitter's Full.
He might make an appearance on Jerry's list later. All right. Yes, I'm also a big fan of Total Recall. That brings me to my number 9.
Mm-hmm.
A little movie called Total Recall.
What?
Yes.
It's your number 9?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, it is my number 9, and it was my number 8, but I decided to move it to number 9 because this makes more sense because it's interchangeable. How can you not love this movie? And you love it as a kid in the 90s for sure.
Yes.
It was amazing. I don't know what it would be like to see it as an adult in the 90s,
Yeah, I don't know.
but it's a epic fantasy sci-fi
know.
romp. It's probably one of my first experiences really with the sci-fi genre.
Yeah.
If I really think about it, in 1990, like what did I have before that? I surely hadn't seen Aliens before that.
In 1990, I was 3.
E.T., but I wasn't. I was 6.
No, you were like 14.
So it was probably one of my. I didn't see it when I was 6. Obviously, I probably
No.
saw it when I was 10. You know.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's an amazing movie. We've already talked a bunch about it.
My number 9.
It's great. My number 9, actually.
That was your number 9, but I'm going to
Your
talk
number
about
9 is
my
next.
number 9 right now.
But that was my number 9.
Yeah, well, it
But this
was
is
my
yours.
number 10.
This is your
so-
number 9.
But my number 10 was your number 9,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter. What was my number 9?
Oh my god.
Where's it at? Oh man. So I have Face Off as my number 9.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
No, it isn't. It is such a good movie. It's a John Woo movie.
Yeah, it
everybody
is.
loves John Woo.
I don't know if everybody loves John
Every
Woo.
single person in the United States loves John Woo, and it has Nicolas Cage and John Travolta.
That is true. It does have both
Those
of those
two people in the 90s, besides Arnold Schwarzenegger, were on fire.
You know, I've
They
never.
had so many movies
Yeah,
that were good.
I love Nick Cage, obviously.
Love him.
Not a huge fan of Travolta.
He was great in this movie.
Yeah, he's all right.
He was absolutely great.
Mm-hmm.
They traded faces, Chris.
They did trade faces. It's true.
Their faces were torn off,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
cut off, if you will, and put on each other. And then they had to act as each other. Could you do that? Could you act as me?
No.
No, I don't think you
No,
could.
I don't think I could.
You don't have the chops to act as me. But Nicolas Cage has the chops to act as John Travolta, and John Travolta is okay enough to act as Nicolas Cage. And I think it's a great movie. It's like a crime thriller action flick, right?
Yeah.
And it's good. It's my number 9.
All right. We'll move on from that.
Watch
travesty.
it. You should watch it.
My number 8, Jerry, is a little movie starring President James Marshall.
Oh.
Played by Harrison Ford, in a little movie that I saw called Air Force One.
That's a good movie.
Love that movie. Absolutely you could still watch that movie today, and you wouldn't know it was made in 1996 or whenever it was made. Also, another movie that I saw in theaters when I was about, I don't know, 12 years old, 12 or 13 years old. My parents, I remember going out to the movies that night with one of my friends. My parents specifically telling me, you cannot see an R-rated movie. Going and sneaking into the R-rated movie.
You would.
And then coming home, and they had friends over and walking through the kitchen, and my parents saying, what movie did you see? And me saying Air Force One, and then just continuing to walk to my room.
You remember all of that?
I remember it vividly.
Really?
Yeah, because we didn't sneak in. That's a lie. We didn't sneak in. The persons that I went to the movie with,
Yeah.
we went with their parents.
Their parents. Okay.
So I'm like,
So that's okay.
Well, yeah.
It was allowed in the movie theater, just not with your
Oh,
parents.
yeah, for sure. So anyway, despite that fact, I still think it's a great movie. I loved it at the time because as a, 13 or 14-year-old in an R-rated movie, probably the first R-rated movie I ever saw in theaters, for sure. But aside from that, it's a very fun, action-packed, amazing movie. Harrison Ford is the man, obviously.
Ugh.
And I've been a huge fan of his as a kid ever since, obviously, Star Wars and Indiana Jones. So it was fun to see that. It was fun to see him. And until recently in my life, I thought that he was Jack Ryan in that movie.
Not in Air Force One.
I thought it was a Jack Ryan movie. It was just President Jack Ryan. I didn't really think about it.
No, that's Patriot Games.
Well, he was Jack Ryan in a bunch of movies.
Yeah.
Might make my list somewhere else.
Maybe.
But anyway, that's my number 8.
Yeah. All right. I guess I'll go with that. My number 8, Harrison Ford also, like, after going through a bunch of these movies, and like I said, I had like 22 movies on my list.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford had a ton of movies in the 90s
Yeah,
that I
one-
just
that-
didn't
That
realize.
one with Anne Heche,
Oh, yeah, that one. Yep. What's that?
like 6 Days, 7 Nights, when they get crashed on an airplane on a deserted island.
Okay. Yes, that is one of them. It's not one that I thought of. Anyway, my number 8, right? I'm on 8. Yeah, is one that we talked about on the last episode.
Oh, yeah? How's that possible?
Well, because they were talking about making a sequel to this movie, a number 2, a Demolition Man.
Oh, Demolition Man.
Number 2. That's my number
Little
8.
Wesley Snipes action.
Wesley Snipes.
Little Sylvester
and-
Stallone.
Sly Stallone.
It's a great movie.
It has,
Can't argue with this pick.
I'm telling you, you're bringing back people out of a frozen slumber.
Yeah,
Right?
cryogenic sleep.
And you're bringing them back to fight a terrible villain in a time frame of where there's like peace, like perfect peace. And there's this one guy that's doing bad things. And Sly Stallone has to come in and make it all right.
Yeah.
And it's an incredible movie.
Way ahead of its time, first off.
It really was. It was really, really good. It's not like, if you look at the ratings for it, it's really not rated that well, but
It's underrated.
I think it is.
There's no doubt
I think
about
it's an
that.
incredibly underrated movie, and that's why I was so excited about a Demolition
fun.
Man 2.
It's a fun movie too. That's another great thing about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it, like, other than watch Demolition Man if you've never seen it before, because they probably are going to make a second one, and they should. And this is like Sly Stallone, like, in the, like, I don't know, like the upper echelon of his prime, right? Like, he's done a lot of things after this. He's directed a lot of things. He's written a lot of things. But in his acting career, I think he's in his prime.
Yeah.
93.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right. My number 7, guys, is actually a sequel. Can you imagine a sequel being in a top 10?
Yeah, that's weird.
It's a little movie called Desperado. Why don't you come to your senses? I've been out riding fences for so long now. Oh, you're a wild one.
Yeah, we're done.
All right. Has nothing to do with that song.
I'm not a huge Eagles fan, if you can believe it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long fucking day.
Okay.
And I don't want to listen to the fucking Eagles, man.
No, I don't either.
Listen, Desperado, aside from the Eagles, amazing movie. Robert Rodriguez, one of my favorite directors of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Does a bunch of stuff with like Sin City. It's great.
Yeah, he does a lot with Sin City, turns out.
No, I'm a huge Robert Rodriguez fan. And did he do the one with what's that little shorter movie he did? Death Wish with Kurt Russell.
Yeah, Death Wish.
It was part of the Grindhouse movie set.
Death Wish. Yep.
Great movie. Anyway, Robert Rodriguez, sequel to El Mariachi, which wasn't nearly as well known. It's Desperado was the big one. And then they did Once Upon a Time in Mexico, which is amazing too as well. But listen, it doesn't get better than this. It doesn't get better than this movie, except for the other 6 I have above it.
Right.
No, I mean, Antonio Banderas at one of his finest. Super fun action. One of those first movies like of the Robert Rodriguez, Quentin Tarantino age that just gets insanely violent. Amazing.
Yeah, it is.
There you go.
I like it.
Desperado.
Oh, man. My number 7. I never know what you're going to think about my picks. And honestly, I don't care about what you think of my picks, but other people might think of them as laughable. I pick a lot of things based off of nostalgia.
Okay.
I always tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
And I say it with every single pick. Like, this is a nostalgia pick. This movie came out in 97. I was 10 years old.
Okay.
Okay. And I watched this movie so much. I watched it so many times.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it every single time. And it also starred Nicolas Cage.
Okay.
Take a guess.
Well, you already did Face Off.
You don't treat women like that.
Con Air.
Fucking Con Air.
Oh, no.
I love it.
Steve Buscemi's in that too, right?
I know.
He's really good.
And
It's not a
that's-
bad movie, actually.
That's what I was going to get at is Steve Buscemi comes in. He's like the really bad guy. And because he gets off the plane, goes over, and he's like hiding out in these people's like backyard. And he starts like holding this little girl by her pool.
It's creepy.
Yeah, it's creepy. You don't know what he's going to do. Like, you've already known that he's a really bad guy. And then all of a sudden they start singing, "You've got the whole world in his hands." And he's holding this child. It's like disturbing at the time.
Yeah.
And you're like, is he going to murder this child? Because you assume he would do that because of how bad they've already like propped him up to be. And then this other bad guy, Nicolas Cage or Cameron Poe, you think he's the bad guy, but he ends up saving the plane, saving all these people. He's a good guy because he was in the army before this.
Just like Joe Exotic.
He was like, you know, I mean, Nicolas Cage can be a good Joe Exotic, but
because of this role. That's why he
because
can
of
be
this
Joe
role.
Exotic.
I think you're right. I don't know. I loved it. I watched it all the time. I think it's really great. It's a fun movie.
It actually is a pretty good movie. I'm not going to disagree with you.
Who's this other guy?
Michael Clark Duncan? Wasn't he
Well,
in it?
yeah, he's in it too. But there's the other guy that was the cop, and I can't remember who it was. Let me see. Everybody will know him when I find out who it is. Oh shoot!
It's a Jerry Bruckheimer movie, by the way.
But I don't know. This is when Nicolas Cage was like on
John
fire.
Cusack?
Yes.
John Malkovich?
John Cusack's in it.
Was in
John
it? Cole
Malkovich
Meany
is
was
in it.
Ving Rhames. Not Michael Clark Duncan. It was Ving Rhames. Sorry.
Right.
Danny Trejo. Yeah, I forgot. Dave Chappelle's
Dave
in it.
Chappelle's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, tons of people are in this movie, and it is so good.
It grossed over $224 million on a production budget of $75 million.
Yeah, well, tells you how good
It's
it
not
was.
a bad movie. Definitely at all.
I loved it. It's on my top 10. It will always be in my top 10 for 90s movies because it is so good.
Perfect. Well, what number was that for you? I'm sorry.
7.
7. So my number 6, Terry.
Yes.
Oh, this is one where I might get a depart. And okay, I want to throw something out there, real quick, because when I was talking about Desperado, it jumped in my mind, like Quentin Tarantino, one of my favorite filmmakers of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of thought about it. I'm like, well, I based my list off of IMDb, just how we did it for the 80s movies. I based the 90s movie list off the top 100 IMDb movies. And then
So you didn't base it off of like what you like?
No. I looked at the top 100 and I picked my top 10 out of that on my own.
Oh yeah, good idea.
But I looked at it and I didn't put any Quentin Tarantino movies on my top 10 because I don't really consider them action movies.
Right, and there is a specific I don't know. There's like a specific thing that we considered action movies, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a.
So I don't know why, but like Quentin Tarantino movies to me don't feel like action movies. So I
No,
didn't
they're
throw them on
not.
my list. Like Pulp Fiction is one of my favorite movies of all time. Jackie Brown is one of my favorite movies of all
Yeah,
time.
but they're not action.
Yeah.
No.
So I didn't throw them on, but I thought that was odd when I started to think about it because I threw a Robert Rodriguez movie on, which is very similar to Quentin Tarantino movie. But anyway.
To a
Said-
point.
Yeah. I just want to throw that out there. We already did a Quentin Tarantino list at one time in this podcast, but we could always.
It wasn't an official.
We can do an
list.
official one. Anyway, my number 6 is a movie that a lot of people might not even remember. Honestly, it came out in 1999. It had George Clooney, Mark Wahlberg, and Ice Cube in it.
Three Kings.
Yep, it's
Yeah.
one of my favorite movies of all time, and I'm not even shitting about that.
Really?
It's a Spike Jonze movie, and
Yeah.
it is during the Iraq War, and they're like basically on a heist to steal a
Yeah, I
bunch of
fought
gold.
in that war.
Yeah, but it was the first one,
Oh, okay.
Desert Storm.
Oh, yeah. That was
And
before me.
They were on a heist to steal gold from one of Saddam Hussein's bunkers.
Yeah.
Like for most of my young life up until probably I was in college, this was one of my favorite movies of all time. And probably even still is. It still is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yes.
So I had to throw it on. It's not really, I don't know if it's really an action movie, although I think it is.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely unbelievable movie that I think a lot of people probably haven't seen.
I have.
Yeah, so I think you should go out of your way to check out
It's
Three
good.
Kings.
George
It's my number
Clooney
6.
and Mark Wahlberg
And Ice Cube.
and Ice Cube, all three of them work very well together in this movie. They are.
It's kind of I think it was like an independent movie, but grossed $107 million on a $48 million budget. Spike Jonze obviously is a huge director. He did like a lot of movies. What's one that's jumping in my head that Spike Jonze did?
Spike Jonze.
I know he did Where the Wild Things Are, but I think he did, he did Being John Malkovich. He did Adaptation, which is one of my favorite movies of all time with Nicolas Cage. Have you ever seen Adaptation?
I have.
Oh, I love that movie. And
I've seen basically everything Nicolas Cage has
he
ever
won an
done.
Academy Award for that movie. Anyway, he did Her, too, with Joaquin Phoenix.
He did.
Anyway, so Three Kings, great movie. George Clooney, loved it. That's my number 6.
My number 6 is not anywhere close to yours, but it's another nostalgia pick. Because that's what I do. I pick movies that I remember from the 90s that I watched all the time, right?
Yeah.
Because they're things that I love. Like these are movies that I love. And this involves Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
Do you know what movie that would be?
Point Break.
Speed.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I know. I get it.
No, it's fine.
It's probably
I
not-
actually wrote it down here. It just you'll have
It's
to see where
probably
it
not
comes.
most people's top 10 for action movies. Like it's not necessarily like
It
the
actually
best.
just made me all that made me think about is the fact that Point Break isn't on my list.
Yeah, well, right.
What a great movie though.
So I get it's not like something you would acclaim as the best acting in the world. No, sure you wouldn't. But Keanu Reeves is phenomenal because it's early in his career and he's doing as much as he possibly can to
Come
be
on.
as good as
That's
he can.
Sandra Bullock movie.
Sandra Bullock is
Sandy?
the best.
Yes.
Sandy
yeah.
Bullock is the one driving the bus, folks.
Yeah.
And
she's
if you
great.
don't know, they have to keep it above 50 miles an hour, 55 miles an hour, or they'll all blow up. Spoilers. That's nerve-wracking.
Yeah. It is. There's
And
tension
then
there.
Keanu Reeves is like busting open hatches in the bottom of the bus, hanging underneath. He's fighting that one guy. I think Jeff Daniels is the bad guy.
I don't remember.
I think he is. No, Dennis Hopper. Freaking Dennis Hopper is a bad guy
You mean Dennis Hopper from Waterworld?
all the time. Oh, don't even get me started on Waterworld, because Waterworld is one of my favorites. Was that a 90s movie?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, it's not on my list.
No.
And I should have put it on my list.
Yeah. The Postman's not on my list either.
So we're going to have to redo this.
No, keep going. It's fine.
So anyway, Dennis Hopper is like the ultimate bad guy. Every time you see him, even if he's acting as a good guy, you assume he's the bad guy. He looks like a bad guy. He is a bad guy in this movie, and Keanu Reeves defeats him because he's the best. And Sandy Bullock, Annie, her name is in the movie, knows how to drive a freaking bus, man.
That's right.
I love Speed. Watch Speed right now.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go with my number 5, which is another one that...
Top 5.
Yeah, top 5 here, folks. Here's a film that a lot of people might not even remember or think about, but it is a 1998 action thriller directed by the younger brother of Sir Ridley Scott, Mr. Tony Scott, famous director, produced by Jerry Bruckheimer because it's the 90s.
Yeah. Right.
Starring a fledgling star called Will Smith.
Oh.
And also a veteran actor called Gene Hackman.
Is this Enemy of the State?
You're correct, sir. It is Enemy of the State. John Voight, Lisa Bonet.
Oh, John Voight.
Great movie. I have loved this movie ever since I was a kid. It's been always in like my top 10 or 20 movies of all time.
Yeah.
I don't know why I gravitated towards this movie that everybody else in the world forgot, but
No, I didn't forget it.
I absolutely love this movie. I think it was, first of all, it was one of the first. Will Smith is fantastic in it. As
Honestly,
he is in
Will Smith
all of his
is
movies.
a phenomenal
Yes,
actor.
he really is great in all movies. And this, I think, was probably post Independence Day, which was probably his big
Yeah,
break,
it
right?
was. Yeah,
But
it was.
you know, and this is Gene Hackman is amazing in this movie as well.
Freaking Gene
so
Hackman.
good. I just absolutely love this movie, and I see it on TV now, and I stop and watch the entire thing.
Yeah.
If I see it like on TBS.
Yeah, that's where you're gonna see it.
But
USA.
Enemy of the State, absolutely love it. That's my number 5.
My number 5 is again, like all of my picks are things that I have enjoyed in my childhood and remember watching from the 90s. Like the 90s were something that I grew up in, right? So like those are the movies that I remember are from the 90s. So they may be different than like critically acclaimed movies. This movie I picked as number 5 because it was like the modern day James Bond
Okay.
to me. And I watched
Da-da, 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 da-da.
Mission Impossible.
Oh, well, that's not James Bond.
It is. It's like the modern days, like the modern day.
You know how there was James Bond movies all through the 90s.
I understand.
Do you know
that.
a little guy named what's his name? Pierce Brosnan?
Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan.
No, I get
a
it.
little movie called Goldeneye.
I understand. We'll get to that.
The
maybe
world is not
later.
enough.
I'm saying like it's a modern day United States version of James Bond. Like it was a newer take on a character similar to that.
Plus, I mean, Tom
Like a
Cruise.
CIA
Jeez,
agent.
That guy's dreamy.
Like a thriller that had to do with crime and a secret agent type person. It was a new take on
What
that.
was
it was
the-
different
it's,
than James Bond.
No, it's James
No,
Bond.
that's James Bond.
What is this? What is the dun? No, that's James
Yeah,
Bond. too.
no, I think you're on it.
No, that's James Bond. What's the song for Mission Impossible?
No,
Come on.
You were on it. Like, it's
Bum, ba-da-bum, bum, bum.
no, that's James Bond. Quit doing the same song. over
Quit
and
doing the
again.
bum ba bum bum.
Yeah, it's oh shoot.
I don't know. Ethan Hunt
Ethan Hunt hanging from
Ving
wires,
Rhames,
from a ceiling.
Simon Pegg.
So he doesn't trip the lasers,
yeah.
while he's trying to grab the thing, whatever it was in the room. And it's awesome. There's been so many Mission Impossible movies. I get it. But the first one came out in 96. It set a standard for action, thriller, cop movies, like secret agent movies.
Absolutely.
That I feel like it needed to be recognized. And yeah, Tom Cruise, right in the middle of his career, perfect. I think he was perfect as the character. And the newest one that came out, like Ghost Protocol, I think was the newest one.
It's really good. They're
dude's-
all good.
That
dude.
dude's like 55, almost 60 years old, and he's doing things that nobody's ever even thought of in movies. He broke his ankle while trying to jump across buildings, like shattered his ankle. And that's the take they used in the movie. And now he's talking about making a movie in space. I love Tom Cruise, and I will marry him. Mission Impossible, number 5.
All right. Number 4 for me. This is going to be right up your alley, Jerry, because this is a little movie starring Nicolas Cage.
I hope it's the same one that I have.
And starring one of my favorite actors of all time.
Sean Connery.
Maybe. There's a little line called, "Your best. Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen."
The fucking Rock. The
Rock. My number 4. I love this movie. Couldn't get enough of this movie. From
Yes.
1996. I mean, come on, dude.
I know.
Nicolas Cage, Sean Connery breaking into Alcatraz.
Alcatraz. Getting in there trying to stop the whole like nuclear holocaust, basically, or they're shooting off that like
Ed Harris was in it.
carcinogen.
Ed
or
Harris is
whatever it was.
amazing. Sympathetic villains. Come on. This movie has everything. Jerry.
Hot shingles, you say?
No, I actually absolutely love this movie. FBI director James Womack.
Well, we're gonna keep talking about it because The Rock is my number 4 movie as well.
Oh my God. That's
joking,
insane.
The Rock, 1996, absolutely my number 4 movie. I love this. Is like the second to last movie that Sean Connery ever made. The
Really?
last one he ever made was something Gentlemen.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yes, The League
Love
of
that movie,
Extraordinary
too.
Gentlemen is a very good movie.
You want to know
but
what's amazing? The Rock was directed by Michael Bay. Did you know that? Of Transformers fame?
I didn't know that.
And also, produced by Jerry Bruckheimer.
Who would have thought?
No, I love this movie. Come on.
Yeah, the Pentagon and the FBI develop a plan to retake the island with a U.S. Navy SEALs
It
team.
grossed over $335 million, Jerry.
Holy crap. $335.1 million on a budget of $75 million.
Yeah.
That's incredible. June 7th, 1996. This is a great movie.
Ed Harris only demanded $100 million in ransom for not shooting the gas into San Francisco,
Yes.
but the movie made $300 million. They could have just turned over some of the profits from the movie,
To stop the
and it
whole
would have been
plot.
all over.
Duh.
Yeah.
Why didn't they do that?
Seriously, guys.
But Nicolas Cage acts his ass off in this movie.
Sean Connery,
the whole
though. That's
oh,
my
I
favorite-
know, but
favorite
I mean,
part of it.
but Nicolas Cage like diving across that, it's like a watchtower or a bell tower where they had the missiles with all those little green balls of gas.
yeah.
And he's diving across there to try to grab these glass balls of gas, and he does. He actually gets them. Spoilers. It's such a good movie. I've watched this like 47 times probably.
Yeah.
No joke. It's very good. It's also my number 4. Now you can do your number 3.
My number 3 is a little movie that we've already talked about, Jerry.
Really?
You didn't put it low enough because it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
High enough, you mean?
Yes, high enough. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and it's one of the greatest 90s action movies of all time.
Total Recall.
No, I already said Total Recall.
I said it.
So did I.
Did you?
Yeah, it was my number 9.
Oh, it was right after I
This movie is Mission Impossible.
Oh, I just was talking about it. It's my number 5.
Yeah, it is my number
Three.
three. I love this movie. Always love this movie. Brian De Palma directed. Tom Cruise. It's got Simon Pegg in it.
Yeah.
It's got Ving Rhames in it.
Yeah. Simon Pegg's in all of them, and he's phenomenal.
He's great. It's just so interesting and fun and action, but also suspense and drama and mystery.
And don't you think it's
It's
set up a
perfect.
whole new level of
A new
movie?
paradigm, for sure. Mission Impossible 3. Oh, that's a good movie. That's
What's
a
that
J.J.
called?
Abrams, one of his first movies, right?
And Metallica did the single for that, I Disappear.
Yeah, and also it had what's the dude's name and the bad guy? It's
don't
amazing
care.
in it.
I don't care. We're talking about Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible 1 set the whole thing about out. Ethan Hunt, great. Pulls the mask off, fantastic. Hangs from the ceiling, amazing.
And to be honest, I love
fan.
every single one of these movies. I watch them every time they come out.
Correct.
They're very good. They're entertaining. It's like the epitome of action movie,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it's like if Jack Reacher was good.
Exactly. 100%. You're right. I like the Jack Reacher movies, but these are way better.
Yeah, for sure. That's my number 3. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is going to coincide with an 80s movie I picked. And I think it was my number 1. But this happens to be the second installment of
Interesting.
that. And it's Predator 2.
Predator 2 is your number
Fucking A,
3
buddy.
movie.
I love Predator.
This
it's
is
always going to be
A
in my top.
travesty of
No, it isn't.
mankind right here.
Danny Glover acts his ass off. Gary Busey is in it.
Mm-hmm.
Gary Busey is a national treasure because he's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a predator involved in L.A. I think it's L.A. I don't remember.
I'm getting too old for this shit.
Yes, that's Danny Glover in this movie. I love it. It's Predator like killing people in a city, and Danny Glover is the old cop that doesn't want to do it. Like he's all worn out. He's really sweaty all the time, and he solves like the whole deal. Like he understands it's an alien race. He figures out that they've landed in the city, and it's awesome. I love Predator 1 and I love Predator 2.
All right.
And it's my number 3, and I don't care what you think.
Let's move on from that terrifying pick of a. Come on, this is 90s we're talking about. There's way better shit to pick than that.
I mean, I agree with you that there are better movies that have been made in the 90s, but we're talking about our own top 10s, and my top 10 has Predator 2 as number 3.
All right, number 2 for me is a little movie starring Keanu Reeves. Keanu. And
Yeah.
it's called The Matrix.
Oh, no kidding.
Do they make clothes in The Matrix? Do they sell clothes in The Matrix, Jerry?
Yeah, they do. You got them.
Yeah. This was a game changer for
Big
me,
time.
for the world, for cinema, for culture, for everything.
Yeah.
The Wachowskis brought this
The Wachowski sisters.
brought this vision, and there's a new one coming. which is
Matrix
amazing,
4.
with Keanu. And guess what? I love the sequels too. I loved all of them.
I really have
I
as
liked
well.
all of them. I
Yep.
like the Animatrix a lot. The animated Matrix
Yeah.
shorts that they did. I dove hard into the Matrix universe. I'm excited to see more of it, although I feel like I've been so distant from it now that it's going to take some getting back into. But it still holds up, guys. It
think
still
so.
holds up as a movie. It really, really holds up.
I don't think it'll take much to get back into, to be honest with you. Like once you get in that world again and you see,
People getting plugged in.
yeah, like just see a similar movie, I think you'll fit right into it right away as
Yeah.
long as they're in the same tone.
I just think it was
I mean, they went off the rails a little bit. Like it
Ish.
went a little bit stranger than it should have.
like the celebration scene in the city.
Right.
What's the city called? I
Like
can't
they have
remember.
a big party.
Yeah,
and
it's weird.
Zion.
Zion, yeah. Anyway, I think this movie right here marked a complete change in cinema.
I completely agree. They filmed it differently. They did like whole scenes. By the way, The Matrix is also my number 2.
Oh, okay.
We have the identical number 2s and number 4s. Weird.
Yeah.
It's written on paper though. Like this is not fake. This
No,
is real.
It's real.
The Matrix is something that has changed all of cinema from the time it was made, and it really honestly has. And there's nobody that could argue that. Like
The only thing before that changed the game, like everything else, was Star Wars.
but to the point that this did, I don't even think Star Wars did. I don't think Star Wars changed.
Oh, yes, it did.
Filming the way the Matrix did from like that point on. I don't think it did.
Well, I think Star Wars changed everything in cinema. I think Matrix did as well. It just didn't hold on to that lightning in a bottle as well. And then I think like Avatar was another one that jumped out and changed things.
But I think there's a difference in saying like a movie changed cinema and then a movie changed cinematography, like how you actually film movies.
Well, Star Wars definitely changed both of those things.
But so did The Matrix. The Matrix
Matrix more did with special effects and cinematography.
Yeah.
Changed that aspect, less so the story aspect of how stories are.
It didn't change anything with story, but I was saying like the way they filmed that movie had never been done before, ever. Like nobody filmed that way. And I remember it being such a big deal about that. Like it was basically like bullet time animation where it was like a 360.
CGI. It was like one of the first.
But they had 360 cameras that moved around, and it was a big deal.
It had mocap. It was a big deal. Yeah.
It was awesome, and I want to be the one.
Yeah, me too. It's great.
We're on to your number 1.
My number 1. Oh my God.
Already.
It's definitely the same as your number 1. I can tell you that.
You think so?
Yeah, for sure. It's a little movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger called T2.
Terminator
2 Judgment Day.
It
is
also my number 1.
One of the best movies ever made. And it is definitely the best action movie of the 1990s.
I completely agree.
And if you don't believe that,
if you ain't drinking the juice,
you need to go back and watch it and realize that funny little Arnold Schwarzenegger movie that you watched as a kid
is way better than you
is
ever remember.
way better than you remember, way deeper than you remember, and way more amazing and world building than you could ever imagine.
And it's way better than the first one. Like, it's
oh yes,
so different.
And there's been a lot of good ones since.
Yeah.
I actually really particularly liked Terminator Genesis, the one with Christian Bale. Was that Genesis?
No, that was that wasn't Genesis.
The one that everybody hated.
No, I agree with you. I liked it a lot too. I always liked that movie. But for T2 Judgment Day, like I watched that movie again, like so many times in the 90s as a kid, which I think about now is weird.
Salvation, sorry.
Like I think that's weird. Like that movie was so deep, so heavy, so
adult oriented.
Yeah. And I was watching it as a kid all the time I was watching that, and I loved it. And like if I were to try to play that for my kids right now, they wouldn't even understand it. But I don't know, it was like, I guess it was just a different time, and I love that movie. Like I was attached to the Terminator, like Arnold Schwarzenegger's character. I was attached to him, and I thought he was like what would it be? An anti-hero, I guess?
Yeah,
Is
for
he
sure.
an anti-hero? And then, I mean, there's just so many things that you follow him along the movie, him and John Connor, and then by the end of it, with the thumbs up going through the magma, the molten steel.
Yeah.
It's just like very like involved, and I was like
Called back
emotionally
from,
involved.
The Mandalorian. Kind of.
When?
At the end, when
Did he do a thumbs up?
the droid is in the...
Yes.
I don't know if he does a thumbs up, but
he
does
doesn't do a
something.
thumbs up, but he's in the lava like river,
Yeah.
and he dies.
Well,
Yes.
whatever. Irregardless. It set up a world
Come
that
with me if you want to live.
is great and deep, and James
need your
Cameron, man.
I need your shoes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
Yeah.
Or clothes. I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. And he shoves a cigar in his chest, and it doesn't even bother him.
Another complete groundbreaker in as far as special effects are done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Because you've got the liquid metal man, the T-2000.
Yeah, you got to understand the special effects in this movie. What year did this come out?
They used mercury.
1994, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
1991, this movie came out.
Holy
All right.
smokes.
So the effect of the liquid metal.
They used mercury on a pool table and blew it around with a hairdryer.
Yeah, this is one of the first real special effects. They also did the one with like the hollow man, like the water person. It was one of the first special effects. Okay, so the movie that brought CGI and groundbreaking special effects like to the mainstream in a big way was Star Wars: The Phantom Menace.
Right.
Right. So before that,
But that was 2001.
no. Well,
Yeah, Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. Yeah, that
I
was
don't
2001.
think it was 2001.
Or was it 99?
I think it was 99.
Okay, either way, 8 to 10
Listen,
years
that's
later.
what I'm saying. This is the predecessor. This was like the 99 for Phantom Menace. That was where we blew up
8 years later.
full scale CGI into a movie.
Yeah.
They had full scale characters, everything. This early CGI, T2 was on the innovation. This was at the very beginning. This was James Cameron
Yeah.
at the very front end of this. And mind blowing at the time.
Yeah, at the time it was incredible.
You hadn't seen anything like it.
And again, Arnold Schwarzenegger, like in his prime, doing what he does. And honestly, Sarah Connor, what's that lady's name? The lady who acted
Linda
What do you-
Hamilton?
Hamilton. Yes, Linda Hamilton. She was great because she's coming from a point of view where she lived with a Terminator before, but he was the bad guy. And she's trying to overcome the fact that like he's not going to destroy everything she's ever known. And she has to work with something that she knew killed everybody, but has to work with him to save her son. And it's just like wild. I don't know. The whole movie's wild. It's really good. It's dark. Everything about it is good. If you've never seen Terminator 2, you are missing out on something that is incredible. And honestly, I don't feel like you need to see the first one.
No,
All you need to know,
absolutely do not.
all you need to know is that the first one had Arnold Schwarzenegger as the bad guy.
If
You have to think Arnold Schwarzenegger is the bad guy at the beginning of this movie, and then you are caught up.
So if you want to get a timeline of computer animation in film, all right?
I mean, did anybody ask for that?
No, I think it's a big deal.
Oh, all right. Go ahead.
Terminator 2 in 1991 was the first realistic human movements of a CGI character, first partially computer-generated main character, first movie to feature morphing effects, and the first use of personal computer to create major movie 3D effects. So it's the first.
Yeah, it really
The only
is.
thing really before that, in the same year, was Backdraft, and they had CGI Fire.
Yeah.
And then RoboCop 2, digital puppetry.
Freaking love RoboCop 2.
And Die Hard 2 had a manipulated matte painting.
So
This
at
is
this
nothing.
time, James Cameron was married to Linda Hamilton.
So after that, these are like Terminator 2 is the beginning, and then Jurassic Park is what sets it,
Yeah.
blows it out of the water.
Yep.
And that was in 1993. So, yeah, pretty much Terminator 2. That's where it's at, number
Is
one.
the best action movie of the 90s.
For sure, guys. That's where it's at.
So we have 5 more that we are going to do on a Patreon exclusive.
And guys, these 5 that I have left on my list are worth listening to.
I tell you what, there's
really good.
5 that are probably going to be argued. And you know what? Like most of these 5 should have been on my top 10.
Yeah.
I don't know
You
what
know what?
to do.
We'll do 10 honorable mentions each. How about that? Bonus
Okay.
on
I
Patreon.
agree. I agree.
But it'll be out next week.
Hang on, let me count, make sure I got them. Because I thought I had 22. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Here's what we'll do. We'll do
10.
We'll do our top.
I got them.
We'll do 10 more honorable mentions, but we won't talk about ones that were on this list. Like Speed was on. It would have been on my, not top 5 honorable mentions. Would have been in there. We're not going to talk about it
Okay, because it was on my top 10.
because it was on your top 10. So if any of your honorable mentions were on my top 10, we won't talk about them.
Okay, and I also like Enemy of the State. I had it on my honorable mentions.
And I had Demolition Man on my honorable mentions as well.
Well, that was stupid.
So I'll have 8 honorable mentions, and you'll have 9.
No, I'll probably have 8.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. All right. So what are we moving into? What you're watching?
Do
then?
we have time or no?
Hang on. Let me get out of this screen, and I will tell you. Yeah, we've got 30 minutes.
All right, we don't want to go 30 minutes, but I got 2 things that I've been watching. Do you have anything?
I'm trying to think because I really don't.
Okay, well, it's fine.
I don't believe I have anything new that I've watched. Oh, I have one thing. One thing. That's it.
Well, I actually just thought of something last. There was the season finale of Dave.
I have not watched it.
Oh my god, so good.
I've caught up to
It's
the season finale, but I haven't watched the season finale.
The season finale of Dave is amazing. Dave is the best show on TV this year.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how many times I get to tell you fucking people to go watch Dave.
No, I agree.
It's
I mean,
a
I
joke.
haven't even seen the season finale yet, and I would agree with you on all aspects of that.
Hi, I'm Dave. I'm Little Dicky.
Hi, I'm Dave.
Who's Dave?
Hi, I'm Dave.
I'm Little Dicky.
It's so good. Little Dicky is an incredible character. Dave is an incredible person because that is a real person. I don't
so
care.
amazing.
You can, if you go and watch this show and then you look him up on YouTube or look him up on the internet like I did because I was curious as to see if this show was accurate.
Yeah.
If it was like a real thing.
Yeah.
And it is 100% a real person. Dave Bird is a real man that acts the exact same way in real life as he does in this show.
I'm
And
pretty
you
sure
will
this
find
is
it
just a
in
straight
YouTube.
up, like this is what happened in his life.
It's no joke what it is because if you, I'm serious. I dove into a rabbit hole of things about Lil Dicky and Dave. I don't even like rap. I hate rap music,
Yeah,
to
me
be
too.
honest. And I enjoy everything
Unless
he
it's that
does.
Ice Cube.
No, it's that iced tea.
Was gonna be a good day.
I don't know what that is. Is that Snoop Dogg?
No, it's Ice Cube.
Snoop Doggy
Today
Dogg.
was a good day.
Snoop
I
Doggy
didn't
Dogg.
even have
I
to
knew
bring
it.
my AK. Today was a good day.
Is that Eminem?
It's Ice Cube.
Oh, I thought that was Eminem.
Nope.
I know rappers. Lil Dicky though, and Dave Bird. So this guy's like legitimately weird and strange and like awkward.
Gifted.
He doesn't know what he's supposed to do. He doesn't know what he's not supposed to do. All he's doing is him. He's acting as himself. He's doing himself. And in the show, it is the exact same way. And I love it. It made me love the show more once I found out like he was literally this strange and this awkward in real life.
Guys, it's a great show. Watch this show.
It honestly gave me confidence in the way I act most of the time. Like I'm a weird dude. I'm awkward a lot of the time. I feel like I have confidence, but most of the time I'm just shooting from the hip. You know?
Really?
And, all the time. And it doesn't
You don't
look
strike
that
me as a fellow with self-doubt.
well. I am very good at deceiving people about my self-doubt. And that is like the truth. And I feel like he is as well. Like, and you see that in the show. He has incredible self-doubt. And then he gets out on a stage and he just like spits out all of his mad rhymes.
This is why
dog.
you're going to love the season finale.
And I need to see the season finale because of this.
So that's one. That's
Yeah.
one to talk.
Great show.
I got 2 main ones.
That's on Hulu if anybody's looking for it.
or
FX
or on
and Hulu.
FXX.
Yeah.
Last week inspired me, or the top 80s movies inspired me to go watch Rambo: Last Blood.
You saw it?
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime free.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna watch it tomorrow.
And I just had to watch it.
I don't care what you say. I'm watching it tomorrow.
No, watch it.
I know that it's got it's like, cowboy guy.
Yeah, I mean, not really, but
Well, he's like in the West, right?
he's in Arizona working on like a horse farm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it has nothing consequential to do with the story. Basically, his story follows John Rambo as he's like working on this horse farm. I don't really remember the last Rambo movie, which came out a couple of years ago, but it definitely probably ties into this movie.
Was it that close?
2018, I think. But
It was not 2018. It could not have been 2018.
It was just called Rambo, I believe.
Yeah, that was like 2006. Because it came out the same time as Rocky.
Rocky Balboa, yeah, about then.
Yeah, that was when I was deployed.
2008.
Okay, so right after I was deployed, I got home and that movie came out.
It probably has something to do with that I don't remember that movie.
And it's called, what's it called?
Just Rambo.
Just Rambo.
The
I saw that. I saw that movie and I
fight
loved
continues. Yeah, that's a good movie. Anyway, Last Blood is, it's kind of like a Taken, like a throwback to Taken.
it. So his daughter is stolen.
Yeah,
And
basically.
he has to go and find his daughter from bad people.
Mexican sex traffickers.
Oh, and he's going to just
Mexico.
rape them,
Correct.
but with bullets.
Mm,
And his fists and his knife.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I knew it.
No, it's a great movie. It harkens back to some aspects of First Blood with a lot of trap building, which I love.
I love that.
He's great in it.
I used to build traps in my backyard because of this movie.
It's hard sometimes to look past Sylvester Stallone's plastic surgery. It's extreme.
It's brisk,
It's,
baby.
It's intense, but you get used to it. I liked the story. All right, it's extremely violent. It's the most gratuitously violent movie I've ever seen in my life.
It's not worse than the Expendables.
I've never seen the Expendables.
It's terrible. Don't ever watch them.
This is so gratuitously, disgustingly violent. It's out of control.
Okay,
But
like gory, violent?
Gory. Oh, very gory.
Okay, I don't necessarily hate that.
Not bad. Fine. It was fine. Nothing that made me like, because it's so over the top that it's almost cartoonish. The story's terrible. The dialogue's terrible. The action's fun.
Adrian.
The complete goriness is like an aspect to it. It's like they did it on purpose. Listen,
Right. They probably did.
it's fine. It's a fine.
Did he write
movie.
that? Did he write the
I doubt it.
what's it called? Rambo
Last Blood.
Last Blood.
Directed by Adrian Grunberg. Yep, he did write it. Co-written by him and somebody else.
Matt Serlunik.
Um,
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone, man.
He
tell
travels
you
to
what.
Mexico to save his adopted daughter who's been kidnapped by a Mexican cartel and forced into prostitution.
It made money.
Yeah.
So the budget was $50 million. It made 91.5 total, so it made $40 million.
Listen, this is why it works. All right, because they didn't go out here and try and spend $200 million to make this movie.
And they shouldn't.
So I'm surprised
That's
you said
smart.
$50 million because it looks like a $20 million movie.
Oh, no, it's 50.
That's my point, though. You can make these movies all day long for $20 million, and all day long they'd make 50 to 100.
Right, like Joker.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was like 70 million, but yeah.
But it was like an indie film.
Anyway, it's not bad if you like gratuitous violence and
I do.
Stallone killing the fuck out of people. Then you're gonna like this movie.
I mean, sounds like my kind of movie.
Yeah. All right. So that was number one. Number two I watched is completely different, way off the beaten path. Now, I talked about season one of this show a year ago or so as being pretty profound, right? It blows my mind, and I get super excited when things are so different and off the radar
Yeah.
that they change I think, the game as far as what is being accepted by our society as entertainment. All right. And this little show that is the show that could and has garnered a huge support is by one of my favorite people, probably of all time. And that guy is Ricky Gervais. I absolutely
What has he
love Ricky
done?
Gervais. I love everything. I love his comedy. I love what he does. But he made this show about a year ago that I spoke about called Afterlife.
Yes.
That
I
I
remember
think
that.
was so profound because it's so small and so different, and his ability to take, and to make something really powerful
Yeah.
about such profound loss and make it interesting and fun and funny, I think it's a testament to his ability as a creator. And it's something you don't see very often in television, movies, anything like that. I think so much about our media now, as far as entertainment, is about trying to appease the most amount of people, trying to make something that has mass appeal. And he's gone out and done something completely different without that even in his mindset.
Yeah.
He's creating real art, but not real art. And it's real art based on real human suffering and pain.
Yes. So what's the new movie?
The new show is the second season of Afterlife, which came out just recently. So,
Oh, I didn't realize it was going to have a second.
well, it wasn't. It wasn't
Season at
meant to
all.
have a second season until it got clamored by the masses that he make a second season.
Right, that everybody loved it.
The second season of Afterlife is, I don't want to say it's necessarily as good as the first season, but it is just honestly like a massively powerful emotional roller coaster that I'm glad I took.
Gosh, I really need to see that. I didn't, honestly, I didn't watch the first season. I never watched it.
I think you really missed out. I mean, I really think,
I mean, it's still there.
yeah,
I can still watch it.
the way this is the subject matter A, the way that he makes it B, and the humor C, which is great.
Yeah.
But D, the ability to take like ugly people, essentially.
Sure.
Like these aren't not attractive people.
Inside and out.
No, just outside. Like they're not physically attractive people that he's casting in this show.
Okay.
And he's making a whole show, and it's very refreshing to see a show
With normal
with
people.
normal looking people that deals with massive loss. It is super emotional. And I mean, I cried several times during this show.
Yeah.
It's powerful, man. And it's something that I think is really important. And
I
the fact
enjoy
that Ricky Gervais could make this and do this, knowing full well, I think that he hasn't been through this kind of loss.
No, so the whole reason I didn't watch the first season is because of like how powerful you said it was. Like how emotional you said it was. And when I enjoy that kind of show, I really do.
But
Like,
it's not quite a breath of fresh air.
I'm an emotional person, but yeah, like it's not something I would tend to like,
Gravitate towards.
yeah, lean to.
It's tough. It's
But
a tough watch.
I do
It's
enjoy
challenging.
watching that kind of show, and the more you talk about it, the more I understand that I need to watch it. And
I think it pushes the boundaries of what entertainment is and can be, and it brings back.
I don't always want doom and gloom. Like even though,
but it's not doom
so
and gloom.
I love
like, that's
Batman.
the amazing
doom
part
and
about
gloom.
it.
And that's the part I need to get over is like it's not necessarily always negative. Like you have to understand there's going to be a bright side to some of the story, or you just have to travel through the story with them. Like you have to go through the story with the character.
This is very much this show. You have to take this journey with Ricky
Yeah.
Gervais's character through absolute misery.
And I'm not a huge fan of Ricky Gervais myself. I mean, he's fine.
I've been a huge fan of him.
He's funny.
forever.
He's okay.
I love the movie Invention of Lying.
I don't even know that.
Oh man, it's a great movie with Ricky Gervais where he lives in a world where nobody's ever lied. Lying doesn't exist, and he's the first person that comes up with the idea of lying.
Really?
So everybody just believes everything he says because they don't have lying. Like nobody's ever lied.
Wow. That's
great.
a
It's a good
really
movie.
good premise.
Yeah, it is a really
It's
good
a really
premise.
good premise.
He's a fucking genius.
He really is. I mean, everything you've ever seen him do in a show, like a TV show, a movie, everything that he's created on his own is genius. It really is.
And I'd be honest with you, he's always been kind of like a little bit of a role model to me as far as his comedy, his politics, everything about what he's about, I'm a fan of for the most part.
I can support the fact that he is very open about his, like, what he believes.
Yeah.
You know, he's not somebody that sugarcoats like anything.
Right.
He comes onto late night shows. That's the biggest thing to me. He comes on late night shows.
He doesn't
and
give a
says
fuck about Hollywood.
Exactly what he wants to say.
And you know why?
Because he
made
doesn't care
all
about
the money
Hollywood.
in the world when he sold The Office.
Right.
All of it. So
Right.
he does not
No,
care.
I get it. But what would he have been if he didn't do that?
Well, I mean, hugely popular because he made The Office, but
I understand, but I'm saying, like, so did that money change his opinion on
Nope.
how he should be?
I don't think so. You think it made
You
him
just
give
said
less of a shit? Yeah, maybe.
I do. I think it made him. You said that. Like,
I don't
he made
know.
all the money from The Office, from selling The Office. So did that change his perspective of how he should be in mainstream media, in how he's presenting himself? Like, he doesn't have to give a shit about anything he does because he's got all the money in the world anyways.
Maybe. I don't know. But
Either way, I understand where you're coming from. Like, he's a very open and, like, straightforward person that you don't see, and it's very refreshing seeing somebody that's very straightforward like that most people aren't
I mean, honestly,
in Hollywood.
my first, I mean, I did watch the British Office probably before the American Office, but my biggest major things with him would have been, when he was just his stand-up comedy, which I absolutely love, which is story-based, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But Extras and Life's Too Short, when he had the Ricky Gervais show, all of that stuff he did. Idiot Abroad, it's a great show as well.
Yeah, it is.
His podcast is amazing. I listened to his podcast
I
15 years ago. He was one of the first people podcasting.
Yeah. Him and Mark Maron.
I liked Derek. I like that show. I love his stand-up comedy. I'm a huge fan of his in general, but this is something that I think is just on a completely different level. I think it takes, and maybe it's a British thing, I don't know, but we don't have this in our entertainment world
No, we
anymore.
don't.
It doesn't exist. The people that can make shows with unattractive people about cancer, death, and just dealing with the aftermath of your life, but not even in a real traditional comedy way, because there's a way to make that show as a traditional comedy.
Sure.
And this isn't that. It is funny at times, but it's also deep at times. I just think it's an incredible thing that he's managed to do. And it's also very hopeful. Season 2, there's some things I didn't like as much about season 2 as season 1. I will definitely say that. They have a really weird offbeat character that plays this therapist, which doesn't make any sense in the show, how that works out. It's like a really, I don't know, machismo, like womanizing male therapist. It makes no sense in the context of the show. But that's where it does make sense, because it changes the course. It like breaks up the show in. It's like real comedy.
Yeah.
Like
I
the
get
way
it.
it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That makes you think. So I think it's definitely something everybody should check out. Afterlife, Ricky Gervais. It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix show. Everybody's on Netflix. You have no excuse.
Okay. I should watch it.
Yeah.
What do you got?
That's it. That's it. That's all.
I have 2, and they're nothing even close to yours, like in weight by any means. Mine are mindless TV that I've watched, and I guarantee you haven't. One of them is American Idol. This year was set up to be a phenomenal show. It was going to be very good. And then this whole freaking coronavirus hit, and they had to change the whole show completely. And they filmed everything from home. So American Idol sent iPhone 11s to everyone. They sent ring lights, they sent stands, they sent everything like microphones, a whole setup to everybody at home, wherever they were going to film. And each contestant filmed their own music, and you saw their their recorded performances at home. And then Ryan Seacrest was trying to moderate it, and the judges were at home. It just wasn't not even close to being the same.
It just didn't work.
It worked for what it was. It worked, for filming things at home. They did a very good job at editing. Whoever their editor was for these videos was phenomenal. They, because people were filming their themselves and then sending the video in to the American Idol people, and then they were editing it from that. They did great work with that, but you didn't get the same feel from the live musical aspect was not the same. The people, all of the contestants filming themselves singing was not the same way because they didn't have a live audience. They didn't have a live band. They didn't get to choose different songs. They didn't change arrangements. It was, I don't know. It was so different.
Yeah.
And it could have been so much better. And I felt so bad for the singers.
Right.
Because they couldn't.
Here's my thing with American Idol.
They couldn't elevate themselves to a better point from the audience, from the.
Hey, you need to feed off that energy.
Yes, the energy of the moment, being in the top 5 or the top
music,
10.
The moment you want it, you want to never let it go. You only got one shot. Do not miss your chance to go. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime.
Yo, and that's what it was. It was like an Eminem-esque type performance that wasn't as good as what Eminem could do.
No, nobody's as good as Eminem.
Well, I mean, there are people as good as him.
Yeah, like Aaron Neville.
Yes.
Here's the thing. After last year, so I was off American Idol for a long time. Last year, I picked it back up, and I started watching it, and this little guy named Alejandro was on there.
I know, and everybody is based off of Alejandro in this season.
Greatest that's ever been on the show.
No.
He's absolutely amazing.
Yes.
And I've never seen anybody like him on the show.
There are other people that are similar to him.
There's nobody like him.
No, there are other people like him. They just didn't get the opportunity that he had. That's the problem.
That dude was amazing. He played folk music, and then the next day he's playing techno music where he's DJing it.
There was people on this season that could have done that.
No. There's nobody like Alejandro.
You didn't watch this season.
There is no reason to watch it after Alejandro.
Well, that's false. But this season was screwed up. And the biggest thing was in the last episode, the finale, Ryan Seacrest had a lazy eye. You need to go
Botox.
No, you need to go back and watch it. I don't know. I was looking up a bunch of news articles about it, but I didn't read into it because I hadn't seen the finale yet. So I didn't want to read about it because I didn't want to find out who won before I watched the finale. Right. But I need to go back and read why he was slurring his words. His right eye was sagging really bad, and people were worried that he was having a stroke.
Ryan Seacrest's team speaks out after concerns he had a stroke.
Yeah. People were concerned he had a stroke while he was recording his part because he was slurring his words. He didn't sound right, and he looked goofy, really bad.
I'd like to point out Ryan Seacrest's sudden change in speech, posture, and eyes towards the end of the show. Is he okay? Almost questioning possible stroke, or was he drunk? Could he have messed with the results? What's going on?
Yeah, what can you tell me?
He didn't show up to Live with Kelly and Ryan on Monday morning, so rumors began to swirl.
Okay. Do you have the answer? Because it was weird. He couldn't pronounce names. He didn't finish sentences. Amy had told me about this before I watched the finale, and that's when I started looking it up, and I was like, wait, I'm going to find out who won, and I don't want to know yet.
I'm not getting a lot of answers here.
I don't think anybody really knows why.
No.
It was weird. You need to go back and watch the finale episode.
He's
because
getting old, man.
He was strange. And
He's saying work-life balance, stress from working from home. That's basically what he's saying. Oh, he's also been doing the Disney Family sing-along specials, which are great.
I mean, he does a lot of things.
Oh, he's the hardest working guy in show business.
That's what they say. It was weird. Anyway, American Idol wasn't what I thought it was going to be this year, and I blame it all on coronavirus.
For sure.
Next thing I watched was Extraction.
I don't know what that is.
It's a movie with Thor.
Mr. Chris. Oh, yeah. I've heard about this movie.
Chris
I heard
Hemsworth.
It was no bueno. That's what I heard.
No, it got pretty good reviews.
Es bueno?
It's okay.
Okay.
I mean, it's good for what Netflix has put out recently.
Okay.
So a lot of the Netflix movies that have been out have been no bueno. This one is by far better than all of those. Like Triple Threat that came out, terrible.
Terrible. Awful.
Had incredible cast.
Yeah, Ben Affleck.
Yeah, and a lot of other people that I don't
Affleck
remember.
was the bomb in Phantoms, yo!
Yes. Yo.
But not in Triple Threat.
No, not in Triple Threat. This movie was way better than that. The plot, yeah, I get it. He's trying to save a boy and he's extracting him, whatever. But Chris Hemsworth does a phenomenal job. The action in this movie would be in my top 10 action movies that I've seen. He does a great job.
Well, I'm going to watch it now.
It's pretty good action-wise. Again, the story and plot.
Okay.
You
Is
get.
it about extracting things?
Yes.
Oh, shit. That's my least favorite thing to watch is people extract things.
But he's
Is it militarily involved?
Yes.
Oh, even worse. I don't like military movies.
Oh, well,
Is
I
it
do.
Police involved?
Kind
I
of.
hate police movies.
Okay, kind of.
Just can't do any of those things.
Yeah, well, I think it's fun.
Okay.
And it was worth the watch when I watched it. It's what I expected. He acted a lot better than what I.
Did you ever watch the one with Ryan Reynolds? 3 Underground, something Underground, 7 Underground?
Yeah, not
12
that great.
Underground?
It's way overdone.
Okay. Because I've heard pretty good things about that, and I heard this was kind of similar.
Better. I think this one's way better than that.
Okay.
This one's not overdone like the Ryan Reynolds movie is. I think it is 3 Underground.
Yeah, or 7.
Or 9.
12.
9 Underground.
It's a multiple of
of 3. Yeah. It is a multiple of 3.
7's not a multiple of 3, though.
No, I didn't say 7. You did.
Yeah. So it's either 3, 6, 9, or 12 Underground.
Underground. And it is way better than that movie. Because it's not overdone. Like the Ryan Reynolds movie is overdone action-wise.
It's Michael Bay,
That's why.
who made The Rock.
But that was before he got overdone.
It's 6 Underground.
Yeah.
So it is a multiple of 3. Come
I told
on.
you that.
I like Ryan Reynolds, though.
Either way, Extraction, way better than that movie. It's a little bit, I wouldn't say low budget. It's just lesser done. It's removed from the CGI and more physical oriented.
Yeah.
It's more physical action
That's
than
fine.
CGI action, and it's
Pretty good.
decent. It held my attention.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I would watch it. It's got a 6.9 rating on IMDb. I wouldn't rate it any higher than that. I would say
That's about right.
it's worth the watch if you have nothing else to watch. It's good.
Well, it sounds great, Jerry, and that also brings us to the end of our time here at Snarf
Yeah.
Talk this week.
We are done.
Tune in next week for our show and also for our Patreon exclusives. Go to patreon.com/Snarf Snarf Comics, and you can get our top 10 honorable mention
Yeah,
90s
well,
movies.
like 8.
Top 8 because we've already repeated some. We'll still mention them. We just won't talk about them.
Right. Well, we'll mention them, yeah, and
Yeah.
we'll talk a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
We're kind of heavy on our
So you'll get our
words.
10 honorable mention 90s action movies. And let me tell you guys, I'm looking at my list and you don't want to miss it. So you go to patreon.com/Snarf Comics. You can subscribe and get those bonus podcasts. We also do Snarfioki on there. We gave you guys a free preview this week because we had
I mean, we had Aaron Neville on
so
the
we
show.
had to do that, but normally we do it over there on our Patreon exclusive, and you get a lot of other cool stuff other than extra podcasts like T-shirts or bundle of Snarfs or stickers or whatever you want. We get a whole new batch of T-shirts coming in, guys. They're pretty amazing.
Yep.
If you're a Patreon $10 level subscriber,
Yep.
you're going to get a free T-shirt. But if you're not, they will be available for purchase. Probably check out Facebook for that.
Yeah, we'll.
I think it's
post
going to be
something.
like $15 for a T-shirt or $20 for a sweatshirt, something like that.
Yeah,
And it's a cool design.
brand new. All
Yeah.
of it's brand new. It's coming to you soon.
Yeah,
It's in production right now.
it is in production right now.
He's literally screen printing them
Yes,
as we
There's-
speak.
Squeegees are moving.
I can hear them in my headset.
Squeech, squeech.
Shirt, squeegee shirt.
All right, guys. For Snarf Talk this week. Oh, hey, before I say that, if you guys got an idea for a top 10 or something you want us to do in the next couple weeks, let us know.
Send us a comment. Send us a message.
Yeah, we would love to
however
have
you wanna
some
do it.
ideas. We want to do what you guys want us to do.
Yeah, we're very open to all
Yeah.
of these things.
We're open-minded. We're polyamorous as far as our ideas go.
Nope.
As far as ideas
Oh
go.
yeah, yes.
I don't even really remember what polyamorous means.
It's like multiples.
We had a
Oh
podcast called the Polyamorous Thruple once.
yeah, that caused some issues. Let's not get into that.
All right. For Snarf Talk this week, I've been Chris.
I am Jerry.
See ya.